Hey guys, welcome. Oh, hey guys, welcome back to Reticulous Radio. We're here with Robert Powers. Robert, you want to get into what your journey into the hobby, what got you into keeping, and
Sure. I grew up on a farm, and we always obviously had animals because it was a farm. And I've always been obsessed with reptiles. And ever since I was a little kid, I used to catch rat snakes, and I'm from South Texas, so we have pretty good selection of reptiles here. So I was always catching rat snakes in the barn, and I got in trouble a few times for catching cottonmouths alive. And then I got married. I was about 25, and she hated snakes, so that didn't last long. So there was about a 6-year gap there where I didn't have any. Well, my current wife I've been with for about 7 years now. She just really told me about a year ago that she loves snakes and wanted to get snakes. And I'm like, how did this never come up? So here we are now with, 20, almost 30 snakes now. And it's kind of our whole life revolves around it now.
well, that's awesome, but it's unfortunate that it took you guys so long to figure that part out.
Yeah, I just turned 40 last Saturday, so I figure I got a good 20 years of doing it, I hope.
Well, happy late
birthday, man. Yeah, so actually you had a pretty interesting party that I want to talk about. How'd that go?
Man, it was a good time. We really had second thoughts because of, the self-quarantine. We figured we'd drink enough that none of the bugs would survive. But we did a white trash bash. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. We all dressed up and some more than others. My wife, I got to say, man, I haven't had a birthday party since I turned 18. So, 22 years. And she and my mom and my mother-in-law and my daughter, they really impressed me, man. They planned it, did everything. All I had to do was show up.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, man. They had, props and games, and it was a good time. Lots of alcohol. That's the best part.
Yeah, man. It looked like a blast for sure.
Yeah.
So what all do you guys keep now?
Well, my wife has, I don't know, 14 or 15 ball pythons. I'm more of a colubrid guy. I like Mexican black king snakes. I've got a couple. I got a male that's almost 6 foot, and he's a big puppy dog. He's awesome. I've got some sand boas. My kid's got my son. I got a 9-year-old son. He's got a couple of corn snakes. It's crazy, man. That kid is. When it comes to genetics at 9 years old, you can ask him, hey, what do you get if you cross a this and a that? And he's like, you get this, and your odds are this. And he's 9,
Man, that's awesome.
He's managed to buy himself like 10 leopard geckos in the last year. We got a 40-year-old box turtle. She's the same age. She's actually about a year older than me, that I got from some people that have had her for 35 years.
Wow.
Damn.
And what else? I had one rosy boa that I kind of just a random rosy boa. And some hognose. I got one hognose. I had 2, but I got rid of one last week.
Oh, all right.
One western hognose. So a little bit of I guess you would call a lot of normal stuff.
Well, I mean, it all depends. I mean, normal's different to everyone.
Yeah,
that's true.
There's always something different.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite out of your collection so far?
Probably my NBKs. They're a little. I know most snakes don't have much intelligence, but you can just tell some of those king snakes, man. When they look at you, there's more going on in there than there is with a ball python sitting in a hide all day and never coming out. The minute I walk in, he's over here. He's actually in an aquarium, a tank right now, because he just did not do well in a tub in a rack. So he likes to be able to see, and he likes to be able to know what's going on. Usually when I walk in the room, As soon as I make a noise, his head pops out of his hide, and he wants to see what's up. And he's not food aggressive like some of them are. My female over there, you stick your finger in there, she's probably gonna bite you. But then she'll realize you're not food, and she's cool. But the male, you could just tell he's more I guess personable. So out of all of them, he's my favorite. I mean, the Sambos are cool, but it's like an invisible pet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. So, have you had any plans for breeding or anything like that?
Yeah. We got 4 gravid female ball pythons right now that we should have eggs out of one of them. I mean, I'm looking at her right now. She's laying upside down. She's inverted and she's been wrapping her water dish. She should be laying probably in the next 5 days based off her last shed. So we should have some eggs there. We got a couple of more. Nothing crazy. No crazy expensive morphs, but we bought a few snakes lately from a couple of the bigger name breeders and got some good stuff going, but they're all young. So this year, it'll be our first year breeding. I did it a long time ago, but it's been, 12, 14 years. So we'll have 3 or 4 clutches this year, hopefully. And it'll get me back into it and really introduce my wife to it. She's all about it, man. It's great. Our whole family, even my 17-year-old daughter, she was deathly afraid of snakes until we got our first one. And now I'll come in the snake room sometimes and she's in here holding a snake.
Is there anything
That's
you're
awesome.
shooting for making this season?
Do what?
Is there anything you're shooting for like this season?
Yeah, I'm shooting for a super cinnamon. I'd like to get a super cinnamon.
Nice.
We've got a pewter and a cinnamon. She's a pewter head G-stripe and then just a plain cinnamon female that have both been paired with a cinnamon male. So I'd like to get a black ball python. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then I've got a lesser pastel that's bred to a Mojave, trying to get some bells, some blow-out Lucy's, have a black snake and a white snake.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, the one that's about to lay eggs, she's just a pastel bred to a Mojave. So, the pastaves are kind of cool, but
pastel still does a lot with
Yes.
the coloring and it's definitely underrated. It's an old gene,
right.
but it's the most common used throughout a lot.
Yes. We're looking at what we can do with that 6 years down the road. Not necessarily what's coming out of this clutch, because we got some stuff we're going to add to it in the future.
Because I'm trying to shoot for freeways this season, but everything will be held back, and then I want to try to keep on going.
Right.
As far as making the banana freeways and just keep on going down the road.
Right. Yeah, and then I've got another. She's just a het pied female that I bred to a het pied male. So maybe we'll get some pieds out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I don't see at the shows anymore? You never see normals at the shows.
No, not too often.
But the ones you do see there, people buy them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the most I could ask for is a normal. Because most people they want it for their daughter, their son or daughter.
Right.
Right. They don't want to go out and spend $300, $400 on a snake, and that's understandable.
Yep. Sean Gray that runs the Herp shows. He and I talked about it at the last Conrad show. He's like, man, I never see normals here anymore. And people ask for them all the time. And that kind of put a little light bulb off in my head that, man, if you sell a couple of $75 snakes, that at least pays for your table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's everything, though. Like normal repicks, you don't see that many as far as mainlands and stuff.
Right.
The normal has disappeared. It became normal.
Right.
And I honestly think most of them have cooler patterns and stuff than some of these morphs.
Yeah, dude, I got that normal male. He's het pied het albino. He's almost black.
Yeah.
Where they should be more gold, and he's got lines on his face like a water moccasin. I call him my little water moccasin something. If you just glanced at him like in the grass, you'd be like, is that a water moccasin? I mean, for a second. But obviously his body shape's different, but he's a normal. I don't like to say he's just a normal, but he's a normal, but he's the coolest looking normal I've ever had.
And I even noticed with some like hets even will mess with stuff. Because I have a normal, it was bred from a pastel to a pinstripe albino, and you could definitely, there's just something different about it than what it would usually be.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be the hets messing with him, because he doesn't look like any normal I've ever seen. He's got the albino. I mean, he's got the pied markers.
Yeah.
So he's not proven out yet because this is his first season, but he's been with that het pied female, and then I've got an albino female over here that was our first ball python. So my wife will not let me put her in a rack, and will not. So I've got her almost talked into it, but she likes to be able to see her, when she comes out. And we might pair her with him because she's about 1,700 grams now, and we were told she was 3 years old when we got her last year. So we're going to pair them up pretty soon. She's in shed right now, and she just stuck her head out and looked at me a minute ago and put her head back in. She's in shed right now, so after that I'll probably pair them up, and hopefully I can prove out the pied and the albino in him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's fun too. Like you just said.
Yeah.
It's a guessing game. It might be, it might not be, but you pray that it is.
Right.
And it's awesome whenever you actually see them come out of the eggs, and it is a pied,
Right.
Yeah, definitely wish you the best on that.
Thanks, man. We've got another double het. He's a banana. He's het exanthic and het hypo. No, he's het hypo. Hold on. Het hypo and het pied. Had to turn around and look at his tag. And so I mean, obviously he's not proven out because he's only a year old.
Yeah.
But I know who his parents were, so I feel pretty strongly that it's there.
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll be able to prove that out in the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. And everybody loves the banana.
Oh yeah.
I see that all everywhere. Bananas are one of the first things to fly off the table.
Where do you? So where I know Conrad, you're in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And where are you at, Josh?
I'm out of Pittsburgh, PA.
Pittsburgh, okay.
Yeah. So it's. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
Somewhere over here.
So is there anything that you're not keeping right now that you have plans to keep in the future, like any?
Well, we should know any day now if the Texas Indigo is going to be blacklisted or not. It's supposedly being removed from protected status in Texas, but we're hearing that they're going to blacklist it, which means you can't breed it and sell it. You can breed it and give it away, but you can't breed them and sell them. I would love to have like a 1.2 Texas Indigo group and get some babies. That's been my favorite snake since I was a little kid. I saw one time when I was about 15 years old. I was trying to sneak up on some javelina, and I crawled over this little hill, and it was laying in the sun on the other side. And it was just the coolest, about 8 foot long jet black snake. And we had about a 30-minute encounter where we just kind of looked at each other, and he went on his way, and ever since then I've been infatuated with those things. So, and any dry marchand, really. I mean, any Cribos, anything. I would love to have any of that.
They're definitely pretty cool.
I just don't have the space for them right now.
And they have a cobra is what I think makes them look so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have that really cool like head shape to them.
Yeah, it's kind of like having the look of a cobra without having to worry about losing a hand.
That's why I love like the water cobras and stuff. It's just the scales, everything about it. It gives the look of one, but you actually don't have to worry about dying.
Right.
So, what attracted you to colubrids then? Seems like you're more into like those than you are pythons. Boyds.
I've always wanted to have every native Texas snake that you can keep in captivity. I've always wanted to one day, maybe. And I don't know why the colubrids just, they move around more. You see them more. I don't know. It's really hard to put my thumb on why I like them so much. they're generally not picky eaters. They're not a pain to get started like ball pythons can be. Not that I dislike ball pythons. I really enjoy the ball pythons we have. It's just the colubrids have always been, I don't know. I guess because that's what I grew up catching was, back then they were Texas rat snakes. I guess now they call them Western rat snakes. And, we had those everywhere. And then, plain belly water snakes and diamondback water snakes and broadband water snakes. We had those all over the farm. So I've always been into colubrids, and I guess that just kind of translated over, as I started getting things and keeping things and reading. That's kind of where I've ended up.
Oh yeah, right. I think,
which is funny because I don't like to get bitten, which I don't know who does, but I don't like to get bitten, and you get bitten more by colubrids than I think just about anything.
Yeah. They're definitely a little bit more flighty and bitey.
Yeah. Well, that's the big male. I got so lucky with him. I bought him off Craigslist from a guy in San Antonio when I was driving home from El Paso. And he just hands me this tub and opens it and hands me this 6-foot MBK, which are known for biting. And I'm like, all right. He's never given me any problems. Never, knock on wood. Never given me any issues. I let my kids hold him. I would let somebody walk in here and hold him. Which is rare for that species.
See, if I were to ever get into like colubrids, the Baron's Racer, like the Taiwanese beauty snake, all those really like speak to me. I think both those
definitely really cool.
They're
pretty hard to get a hold of. They come around every so often, but once they come in, they fly out the door.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been trying to track them down now for a little time now.
Really?
Hopefully, I might have a chance this year of getting a hold of one. So we'll see.
I think the other one that would probably be my pinnacle, which I almost bought one a couple weeks ago, is an Alterna. I'd like to get some Alterna. I accidentally found one outside of El Paso last year when I wasn't even looking. I was on a job site and turned over a board, and there was one under it. And I took like 1,000 pictures, and it was up in the Davis Mountains, so it was a lot more orange than some of your ones that are farther south, and not in the Davis Mountains, in the Guadalupe Mountains. So I really enjoy those. My son is every time we have a new spot open up in the rack, he's like, "Dad, are we going to put an Alterna in there? Dad, are we going to put an Alterna in there?" So I almost bought one from a guy at a show a couple weeks ago, but ended up not doing it. So that's another one that's one that we find it's kind of the holy grail of herping in Texas is the Alterna. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have a couple.
Yeah. See, if in Michigan, you can't keep native species; it's illegal. But if you were allowed to, I definitely think I'd shoot for the blue racer for sure.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, but they really like to bite.
So you can't keep anything that's native there, even if it's captive bred.
No native species.
Just like Georgia.
Yeah. Actually, Georgia, I don't know. We just had Kim Emross on last week, and she keeps natives, and she's in Georgia.
I think you have to have permits.
Yeah, she might. I think she does have the permits.
Permits she had, or that they had to have. That each person in the household had to have it.
Because you can't even keep a corn snake in Georgia because it's a native. I've had friends that have had issues where they didn't realize that and tried to ship one and gotten their hand slapped for it.
Oh wow!
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy the variety in state by state laws, though. Because I mean, like in where is it? Florida now they're changing the what was it? The Tegu and iguana ban just passed.
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying in Pennsylvania. I know they're trying to pass an exotic animals ban. I don't know how far they're trying to take that one.
Hopefully that never happens, or isn't able to happen, because we have so many people in the community here that actually will stand up for it and fight against it. So I'm hoping, we don't ever have to go that route. Because it just sucks. They're trying to take stuff that we love away from us.
Yep.
We can't let that happen.
Excuse me.
So when it comes to like herping and stuff, what's some of your favorite stuff to come across native out there?
Man, I love to find a big, nasty, mean Atrox. Those dudes just do it for me. I don't know why. And we have a lot of them where I hunt at. It's every third rock or board you turn over, there's a rattlesnake under it. But the cool thing out there is you can also come across the occasional blacktail rattlesnake, which are a lot more chill, and they're beautiful because they have that jet black tail. I just like I've seen thousands of them in my life, and I don't know why. Every time I find one, I get excited.
Now, see, my uncle lives in Texas, and he's like the exact opposite of us. He like growing up, like he even came to Michigan one time, and we lived by a creek, but all we had were like garter snakes and stuff. And my mom told me he was afraid of snakes, and I was a smart ass kid. So he went to go step off our porch. I said, "We have snakes in our backyard," and he stepped right back on it. But he's used to, I guess he told me he used to. I've only talked to him a few times. I've never really gotten the chance to know him super well, but I know he's not a big fan of snakes. Which,
do you know where at in Texas he lives?
Austin. He's actually a real estate agent.
There's rattlesnakes out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In Texas we have
in his truck. I'm like,
in Texas we have so many different types of rattlesnake too. In East Texas we have the canebrake, the timber rattler, which is also supposedly coming off the protected species list, also along with the indigo. And we have our western diamondbacks. You can even find easterns in deep East Texas. The Masaguas, the gray rock rattlesnakes, the blacktails. They're all over the place. But Texas is so big. I mean, Texas is 10 hours from Texas, so I mean, you can. Yeah, I mean,
back from Arizona, and I always tell the stories. We got pulled over 4 or 5 times coming through. We got pulled over twice in Texas. Just 2-3 miles from each other. I'm like, I'm going to go home now.
I mean, where I go to hunt at is 6 hours from my house, and when you look at it on the map, it's like that far. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Almost 300 miles, and it's when you look at it on the map, it's a little bitty line compared to I-10. What I-10 is from Beaumont to El Paso.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like living in northern Michigan in a way. We're like 6 hours, 8 hours to even get out of state. That's into Ohio and Illinois, but we're just surrounded by water. So
right.
How often do you actually get out herping? Do you mainly just do that while you're hunting, or do you?
Yeah, I try to go in the summer, and I'm having some issues with a knee and my back, so being on my feet for a long time is not a lot of fun right now. Hopefully, I can get those issues resolved soon. And if I have to have knee surgery, the recovery is going to be a while, but I try to get out 4 or 5 times a year out there in West Texas. But like my son and I, we'll just go, we'll go to this park down the road, or we'll go to my in-laws' house. They live on 2 acres and they got a bunch of junk in their yard. We'll just go out there and start flipping stuff. We find all kinds of stuff in their yard. Every time we go over there, yeah. I mean, you find everything from a checkered garter snake to a cottonmouth in their yard. So I have to be careful because they want to kill any venomous snakes. So I just don't say anything about them. But like the guys I hunt with, we have an agreement that if I'm there, we're not killing rattlesnakes. If I'm not there, they're grown men. They can do what they want. Just don't tell me about it and don't send me a picture.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a few of the people I hunt with even aren't like the biggest fans of snakes, but like we have like absolutely nothing to worry about in northern Michigan, especially during hunting season. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, we have the eastern Massasauga, but let me tell you, I've been looking for that thing for a long time and I still haven't found one. So, but everything to them is like a cottonmouth. So I swear they think we have cottonmouths in Michigan, and it's mind blowing.
Where I hunt at, you could literally be one day it could be in the 20s, and the next day in the 80s. I mean, and I've found rattlesnakes on Christmas before.
Oh wow!
Oh man, yeah, I've actually seen like people like in Texas. There was a video of it got like so cold once and these guys pulled over and like literally picked up like 2 rattlesnakes that were like half like, frozen. Mm-hmm. They're alive, but like super cold. So they weren't really moving. He just like picked them up in their coils and was like showing. One started waking up a little bit. I'm like, oof.
Yep.
That's a Darwin award right there.
That is not food. I put my foot up next to one of the tubs, and this 2,200 gram female, she's got her face right on it, thinks my foot is food, I guess. It's feeding day is tomorrow, so they're all looking like, hey, you feeding a day early?
So if money wasn't an issue, what would be your biggest dream snake, I guess? Dream animal, dream reptile.
And if money wasn't an issue, never had that problem in my life, so I've not thought about that a lot. Maybe some big monitors with like big, huge, like room size enclosures with water features, and I think that'd be cool, like big croc monitors or something.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't have room for big monitors right now, but I've always wanted to get into like crack monitors or like a white throat or black throat, Asian water monitor would be sweet.
The bio dude, everybody knows who the bio dude is, Josh. I assume you guys know who he is that does all the bioactive stuff.
Yeah.
His shop is 10 minutes from my house. Nice. So yeah, I go there pretty often. He just built, it's probably an 8x6x6 desert type bioactive with 2 Ackie monitors in it. And that is the coolest enclosure I've ever seen, man, because they have, of course he can afford to put all that wood and all that expensive stuff because he gets it, I'm sure it costs. And it's an amazing enclosure. I would love to do something like that, but you're probably looking at $10,000 to build that thing. Easy.
It can get up there. Now, granted, if you do it yourself, you might shave off some money, but still not by much.
All of our. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
All of our bearded dragons are on bioactive. We got three that are bioactive, and I know what I spent setting those up, so I couldn't imagine setting up a big. And I made all the dirt and everything myself. So that was the cheap part, but the plants and the wood and the I've got a bunch of springtail and isopod cultures. So by the time you get all that going, but that's been kind of my new thing lately. Have been the isopods and the bioactive. I'm starting to kind of nerd out on that a lot.
It's definitely pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do a bioactive enclosure. But like I've always liked the looks of them, especially.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just they always grab your attention.
You can set it all up how you want it, and you leave it. Compared to where I set stuff up and I got to rip it all out to clean everything, and
right,
just you throw away a lot.
I'm probably telling something I shouldn't, but I have one of my designers at work, since we're kind of slow right now. He's drawing me up a construction drawings with all your measurements, and so we have CNC, we have water jets, we have laser cutters, and all that stuff at work.
Yeah.
He's setting me up he's making me plans for a rack system that actually holds enclosures instead of tubs. So, and I mean, we're putting lighting, heat, everything in it. We're going to build it, and then I'm going to do a materials takeoff to see what the cost would be for me in materials. But I think to have like a whole wall with like several slide out enclosures instead of a rack, and then do them all bioactive, because he's even taking into account the weight of what the bioactive would be to build them. But the problem is I'm probably going to have to build it in place or build it modular where I can bring it in pieces.
Yeah.
Because a while back, I was thinking, I'm like, why couldn't we build a rack that's more like an enclosure or a tank, or like a PVC enclosure that slides out for cleaning and ease of use, but can also have light and heat in it? What's stopping us from doing that?
Yeah.
And I took it to one of my designers, and he's like, "Oh man, that sounds easy."
Yeah, dude. So actually, I'm not gonna give it away, but me and Josh have actually been talking about some cage designs that we'd really like to see on the market.
Bigger.
Yeah. Supposedly, Freedom Breeder's building one right now.
Yeah. I've seen what they're working on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, because even with racks, I wasn't a fan of racks, years ago. And then as I started using them, I'm like, I like them for the fact of you can control the heat, you control, everything about it. And the people that are against the racks, I'm like, just if you use one, you'd understand. You get perfect sheds every time it's just so much easier to control. Than to how I used, the old way. But
right.
But yeah, it'd definitely be awesome to have something where you could actually do something bigger and have it fully set up and see everything, and that'd be awesome. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Yeah, I mean it's just in the concept phase now. I would imagine it's going to be a while before I could get it built. But the other thing he's doing for me is he's drawing me up plans to build a disc. Basically, instead of getting a table when I go to shows, instead of using one of their tables, just something I can roll right in there and set up. It's got all my displays in it, all my marketing stuff's on it, and literally roll it in there, plug it in, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because even like Garrett Hartle does stuff like that, and he's out of Pittsburgh, and I'll say his setup is just top notch. And
that's kind of where I got the idea, was from Garrett's.
It's different, and that's what you want. You want something that catches someone's eye, and when everybody sees the same thing, you want to be the one that sticks out.
That's right.
And do different colors and stuff like that, just to catch people's eye, and they come over just to see what you have.
Right. See, I'm kind of lucky at work because I have a design team, I have a marketing team, and I have a fabrication team that that I can pick their brain. Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's
what
nice.
we were talking about, I told him, I was like, if we'd go through with the designs that we want to do, like I said, we were going to do like multi-level. A CNC machine would be perfect. Now, granted, they're like $5,000-$6,000, but once you get it, it's just mainly finding a place to put it. But that's the only issue.
Yeah, we have 200,000 square feet.
Yeah. But it's just, it makes life easy. You take
us not that much.
I'll tell you, with this economy taking a dump right now, we've had a bunch of strategy meetings about new avenues of making money. We have this huge fabrication shop out there right now that's basically sitting idle. Yeah. So I showed my CEO today. I showed him plans for racks. I said, "Look, man, these companies are making money selling racks. Why don't we build some and see if we can sell them?"
Yeah, and a lot of the companies you're waiting, 4 or 5 months to get.
Oh yeah,
shipped in.
So I could turn because we already work with PVC. We have 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1/4 inch PVC, and hundreds of sheets of it laying around. So we're going to draw up some plans, and I'm not going to copy anybody, but I kind of know what I want to do.
Yeah,
and we're going to try and produce 30 or 40 racks. See if we can sell them.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you for sure, especially if you get ship, like if you guys just like have them ship unassembled,
Well, heck,
send out an instruction sheet, you're good. Sheet, you're good.
Taking them to shows, you might have the occasional person that offers it. Like we have pretty much one company, one guy that builds our stuff around here, but there's no competition. There's not always that he has all the stuff you need. You might have to pay him to build it, and it'll take, a month or 2 or 3 months.
Right.
So if you can go there with already product built, it'll fly out the door. Because people want stuff now. No one wants to wait.
Right. Yeah, that's my biggest problem. That's why I have sea serpents racks, because I can get them in a week. Yeah. And they're good racks. Chris makes good stuff. But I can get them in a week to 10 days. Unlike some of the others, I tried to order, and I'm not trying to talk bad about them, but I tried to order some animal plastic stuff, and it was like 3 months.
Yeah. Their wait time's just insane. Like I went to go do the same thing. I'm like, no, I'll just buy locally.
I had to order some vision tubs. I bought a couple of sea serpents racks from a guy off Facebook Marketplace a couple weeks ago, and he didn't have all the tubs. So I ordered some vision tubs, and it was 21 to 25 days to ship the tubs.
That's great.
Just tubs. Yeah. So they'll be here tomorrow.
Jeez. Yeah.
Hopefully there's nothing wrong with them either, because I've noticed that I've seen people get them in and they're cracked, or just how they stack them and ship them.
I'm going to be upset if they show up cracked tomorrow.
I mean, one of these days, me and Josh might have to pick your brain off stream with some of our ideas. I'm just saying, because we don't have an engineer design team behind us. So.
Yeah,
but we've always had, because like even after the stream, me and him like bullshit for a bit. We go play video games and stuff, and we continue talking, and like talking about like different ways of keeping and how you can. Different designs and stuff. So, I don't know.
You got to worry also on who you tell. Because people get and run with it. But it's mainly it's just the trouble of being able to produce what's in your mind.
Right.
Where you need to talk out, get certain people, good people, and try to figure it out.
Well, I was in law enforcement for a long time, and I got out of law enforcement because I started my own cabinet building company. So building a rack to me that's child's play.
Yeah.
That's easy stuff.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm not a carpenter. I mean, it looks easy, but like I can like freehand cut with the skill saw like no other. But when it comes to making something square for some reason,
Yep.
I think I love DIY stuff. Just because you did it.
Yes.
It gives you that. Even whenever I used to do concrete for years, the fact I can drive past place and 20 years from now and be like, I did that.
Right.
It's just makes you feel good.
Yep. I used to do concrete overlays. The cementatious overlays where you do the hand trowel, make it look like stone and rock.
Yeah.
And I did one about 6 years ago at a friend's house. I did his whole interior of his house. And I was over there a couple months ago, and it looks like the day we put it down. And I was pretty proud of that, It's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, concrete's definitely it's definitely nice.
Time out.
What?
Please tell me you got an empty enclosure.
Why?
Because you busted out of hers.
She broke it? Yeah, I have an empty enclosure, yeah. Here, okay.
Hey, look who joined us.
Like it's the glass cracked, and like it's not even cracked. She like busted a whole hole in it.
The PVC broke?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. Hi, guys. All right.
You really did cut your hair, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I'm like, who's knocking on the door right now?
Oh, the Doom Rules has a name now.
What is it?
Kayla.
It's named Kayla.
Yeah, Kayla named it Kayla.
Oh.
I had somebody try to give me a Doom Rolls recently.
I almost didn't have one for a second. It was fucking.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Robert,
Yeah,
that's Keith. He's the one you were talking to, like that wasn't on the stream earlier.
Yeah, so there's watching.
Hey Keith, what's it mean if your computer randomly says lacking and just locks you out?
Is what?
What?
Yeah, my computer randomly popped up with the screen that said lacking, and then it just like locked me out. I've never seen that before.
Probably. Have you not been doing anything on it?
Yeah, you've been doing something on it you shouldn't?
No, I honestly haven't used this thing, 3 months now? Normally I'm not even on this, but
you don't need it. Those ones just slide on.
because it,
No, I know. I have the keys.
I don't know, it's back up. Yeah, and maybe it was because I wasn't like doing anything. Maybe it just went like sleep mode or something. It's weird.
I did on the day today.
That's crazy.
Well, I was like, oh my god. I'm like, she's fucking cute.
Did she break the glass or something in the enclosure? What's up?
She broke the PVC.
The plexiglass. She busted through the plexiglass.
So yeah, plexiglass.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you live right street.
Yeah. I don't have to go where else for it. You have to go to the enclosure.
Well,
All right, I'm back on.
I am not doing that one. Maybe you have that.
All right.
Later. Yeah, send me a picture.
That would have been interesting to happen live on stream over at his house.
She's a big girl.
I guess he doesn't live far from you.
No, he lives right across the street.
Okay.
Yeah, because the company HBH is it's us half brother herps. So it's all three brothers are a part of it. So I have a lot of stuff in my house, and they have stuff at their house, and like he more or less does the colubrid and stuff, and I deal with retics, perms, and that kind of stuff.
Now big doom rolls.
yeah, apparently. Yeah, it's exciting.
Dude, I'm running plexiglass in my all of mine because I have kids, and kids like to not always be the most careful. Mm-hmm. So I'm always worried about like glass shattering. Well, that just got me thinking, what if my 12-foot retic decides that plexiglass no longer should exist?
I don't think you have to worry too much. The way that his enclosure was set up, because he got it with the snake, the plexiglass was drilled into the front. So you can see how many weak spots from them drilling holes through it created.
Yep.
Yeah, I see mine are sliding. There's no holes in that.
His just the top opens up, which is huge. But yeah, the way that they did it was definitely a flaw. On
I don't know how to bring this up. Unfortunately, maybe he should bring this up on this stream on his computer.
What?
He just sent in messages. I don't know if you guys can see this, but let me pull it up.
Oh yeah.
I think I see what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a big hole in the plexiglass now.
And the way they did it, it was real. It's not the thick stuff because they had just drilled it to it. So, well, I guess maybe he'll be getting that top enclosure behind me because I really don't have a use for it. I do, but I don't. At the moment, there's nothing in it, so he might luck out and get a $900 enclosure. But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think we're still live on Facebook and everything.
it says we're live right up top.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I must have just been inactive on all these sites, so it just kind of closed me out of all of them. It's weird. But all right. Yeah, so yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. Keith all of a sudden just like comes in with his doom rolls and
I
threw
didn't
me
know.
off there.
Well, so something I'd like to talk about, if you guys are game, is about some of the Facebook groups.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I listen to nothing but podcasts. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. And I'm in a bunch of the Facebook groups. I don't really comment because I would probably get kicked out pretty quickly. So I just I don't know where to start with how many people you see in these Facebook groups that have one snake and they've had it for like a week, and they are the expert. They don't want to listen to anybody, and it is probably the most annoying thing I've ever seen. But it's been nice because I know I've only been back in it for a year, but there's a couple of groups that I'm in that I'll see people getting terrible advice because I think the thing that gets me is you see people giving advice and they're just repeating something they heard.
Yeah.
It's not something they've actually experienced. It's always the same crap over and over and over. So I've been able to mentor a couple of new keepers with one ball python and help them get set up with a nice enclosure and it's objective whether or not ball pythons need enrichment. They don't need enrichment, but whether or not it does them any good, I don't think it matters one way or the other, because my ball python that's in a tank with a bunch of stuff seems to be doing just as well as my one that's in a 37 quart tub.
Yeah.
They're still ball up, they still eat, and they still shed.
Yeah.
So
most of the time they're in a little a hole or a cave,
right.
Just hanging out.
Right.
But
you hear that same thing all the time. Ball pythons spend all their time in termite mounds, and they don't hunt and they don't climb trees. And
but they do have an opportunity.
Right? Yeah. So I see a lot of negativity. In the hobby, you get a lot of people who just want to attack people and tell them they're stupid. And there's one thing I hate more than anything is when someone comes onto a group and asks a question and people are like, you should have done your research before you got an animal.
Yeah.
And that's just not how it works sometimes. And at this point they already have the animal, so we need to help them take care of that animal, because ultimately that's what matters.
Yeah. You can hope that they do their research, but they're at least coming and asking for the advice.
Yes.
Instead of completely ignoring it. Now, most of the time, like I tell everyone, it's a lot of learn. Figure out your basis of what the animal needs, what it'll do with, and then you learn from there on what that animal likes. On can you do this? Can you not do that? And it's just a learn as you go test them. But people are asking for help. They're putting themselves out there. Give it. I help run it's constrictors as pets. What should I help manage. And
I really like that group. That's good.
Yeah, we try to keep it positive. We don't want people bashing people. Like, if someone has a question, help them. Bashing them, all you're going to do is either run them out of the hobby, and then all these people that are trying to breed their snakes aren't going to have no one to sell to because you scared off the people that wanted to come into it.
Right.
That group's actually how me and Josh became friends, because we both ended up as mods in there.
But I've been doing it for about 20 years, and I just whatever I've done throughout my whole time, because I started whenever it was just tanks and stuff like that, and offer what what helped you.
Right.
But a lot of people they want to act like they know everything, and then we're even talking, which is actually a good subject you brought up, is like elitist. That like I own a retic, but you can't. I don't believe that. Like what gives me the capability of doing it, but not someone else.
Right.
And I've been doing it for years. And I don't get it. Now, I don't want to see, a kid under 18. I know I had a retic and a berm at, 12, 13 years old. But, I had parents that helped out with everything. But, I understand the whole not selling to someone under 18 without a parent, all that. I definitely, 100% support that. Don't sell to some young kid a snake that's going to end up, 15 plus feet.
Right.
But to tell someone, oh, you shouldn't get this snake because it's out of your league. How do you know it's out of their league? What do you know their mental, it's just, I hate seeing that.
Yep. I know people whose first snake was a berm.
Yeah.
And they did great with it. But, that's what they wanted. They did their research. They took their time. They got everything set up. I watched a 12-year-old boy buy a baby green anaconda at a show a couple of weeks ago with a 20-gallon tank. This guy sold him, this is what it'll need for a good year. And I'm like, dude, it's a green anaconda. That thing's going to outgrow that. And, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. And
it wasn't my place to say anything. It was already done by the time I came up on it anyway.
It's hard to see stuff like that because you know what's going to end up happening. Hopefully that kid, starts doing some research and can the animal correctly. But it sucks that there are some people out there that are just trying to make the dollar and sell stuff off. Who knows? That person selling it might not even know anything about it. I saw tables with retics in my hand, a breeder or a person behind it. What is that? I'm like, really? Did you just have to? But like I said, I guess, some people in the ball python world, that's all they deal with. They branch out to see different species and stuff. And I guess I kind of get it. Yeah, my first snake was a boa, and then it was a Burmese, and then it was a retic. I didn't have a ball python until 2-3 years ago. I didn't get into them. But with the different genetics and all that stuff, I was like, fun to work with. As far as make some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about the ball pythons. It appeals to that scientific side of my brain.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy the genetic side of it. They're not. I mean, they're a cool snake because you can take them out and hold them, and they're not really going to do much. Move around a little bit, and generally not bite you. That's not always true. I've got an orange dream female over there that will bite you every time you look at her. But a couple of my friends have bought from the same breeder, really good breeder, great people. Snake Eyes Exotics is Matt and Anya Littlefield, but it's like every orange dream they sell just has a bad attitude. I don't know if it's just because they're still young or what, but I bought one and two of my friends bought one, and both of theirs are just like mine, just on fire. The minute you reach in and ready to bite you, pick it up, hold it. 2 or 3 minutes later, it's biting you again. But she's little, she's only a couple 100 grams.
Yeah, and then with the ball pythons, it's something that most people want to buy for your kid's first pet, or if you plan on breeding for a little, you almost have to hit that market, or otherwise you won't always sell something. But it's a lot of fun. Like I said, we're shooting for the freeways and stuff like that, and just stuff that catches my eyes. So. Cool. Yeah, I'm
a firm believer in you got to breed what you like. You can't chase Justin Kabilka around.
Even I made a post today. I've talked people out of buying snakes this past week from me, and I'm like, because they just seem like they want to just buy something, and I'm like, just look what you want. If you do want a ball python, find out the genetics that you want. Don't just get what I have available. Find something. It doesn't have to be from look, do some search, type in ball python and see what comes up and click on what you look, what catches your eye and go from there.
Yep.
I'd rather see that than, like I say, people settle for what they didn't really want, but I had the money and I just bought it. And now they're bored with it, and now they don't want to deal with it, and then it gets passed off to someone else. And I'd rather see something that all right, I'm gonna have this animal for next 20 years or plus.
Right.
That's what I want to see.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I turned down 5 people this week of just no. I don't think that's really what you want.
Right.
Yep.
And that
doesn't sound like what's in your alley.
Well, it's still business. I know sometimes people think it's taboo to talk about making money off of this. It's still business, but you still care about the animal more than you do about making money. But then that shows that because I know people who would have been like, sell it, whatever, it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens to that animal. I'm not that guy.
Those are the people that I walk past.
Me too.
Because I know that's exactly what they are, and they'll try to talk, well, I'll knock off $20 or whatever. Yeah, but I didn't want that animal in the first place. Now you're
right.
Because it's cheaper, you want me to buy it. It's
right.
No thanks.
Yep.
I
think Conrad tried to say something about 4 times and we kept interrupting him.
No, you're good. No, you guys are keeping it going. It's good. Yeah, just a couple things though. Like, well, the reason the elitism got brought up today, I can't say who, but like, under Josh's Facebook post about turning down, clients that he knew he didn't have exactly what they're looking for. Someone made the comment about how they constantly turn down people because it just came off more as an elitist comment, likely you can't, you can. I can own this, but you can't sort of thing,
Right.
And it's always like a big bummer when you see that, because then it makes me think that those people like bought those animals more for like a status symbol sort of ordeal.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think elitism and that kind of tie in together. Like, if all of a sudden, like if all these people start getting this animal that I have, then it's not going to be as cool,
right.
And really, that's not what this should be about at all. You know what I mean?
No.
I
want as many people in the hobby as I can.
Yeah.
Right.
Doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I love to come into it and ask questions. And I tell anyone, shoot me a message, whatever. Like if I can help you, I will. I'm not gonna sit here and judge you. Oh, you didn't know this. Like, you get it. Not everybody, knows everything. I don't know everything. I'm learning every day, like something new. But it's what the whole thing is. It's a learning process. And they're doing the right thing by asking a question. That's how they're learning.
Yeah, and if you jump down somebody's throat on a Facebook group post that's asking a question, there's probably 100 other people that see that and don't ask a question.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid of what the response is going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I could post a picture right now in my reptile room in one of these ball python groups, and I would have 20 people telling me you shouldn't keep them in tubs, 20 people telling me you shouldn't keep them in a glass tank, 20 people telling me you shouldn't keep them in a rack, because I have all 3 in here. And there's no one way to do anything.
Nope.
And it's natural. It's natural for you to want people to do things the way you do it. That's just how we are as humans. But when it comes down to just substrate, you'll see somebody say, "What kind of substrate should I use for my ball python?" And you'll have somebody tell them, "Don't use Aspen. Aspen's terrible. Don't use Reptichip. Reptichip's terrible." My first question is, where do you live?
Yeah.
Because if you live where I live on the Gulf Coast, Aspen works great 90% of the year because the humidity is so high here.
Yeah.
But if you live, I don't know what the humidity's like in Michigan, but it's probably not nearly what it is down here.
Not right now. That's for sure.
Right. Or if you live in Arizona or up in the mountains in Colorado, if you throw Aspen in there, you're going to have snake jerky. Or you're going to have a human hide in there all the time. It blows my mind that people don't think to ask that one simple question on that one. And that's probably the most common question you see in a group is, I can't keep the humidity up. What am I doing wrong? Or I've got too much humidity. What am I doing wrong? And people just want to say, here's what I use. It works for me. It's the only way. And
And there's so many options. There's so many options.
Yes.
Like we even discussed that is, I started using Reptichip and some stuff. I still use paper and other stuff. You got to work with everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of like the paper better. I don't like the look of the paper.
Right.
But as far as I feel like cleanliness, all that, paper seemed to be on the better side of that. But Reptichip, as far as humidity, everything, it's awesome. Especially in all the bigger enclosures, I have better sheds, and it's more appealing than paper.
Yeah, I love Reptichip. I consider JT to be a friend now, because he's right here. So every show I go to, my wife and I'll stand and talk to him for an hour, and you know what? He will talk to us the whole time and treats us like we're family. Man, he's a great guy, and I think all the ball pythons are on Reptichip now. We switched, middle of our winter. Yeah. And so I'm interested to see how it does this summer when the humidity goes up. Definitely
a fan of Reptichip.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, like I said, there's so many options. And a lot of people, like Conrad's used, what is it, so many different ways to skin a fish. It's true. It's tanks aren't long. The racks, if you do it correctly.
Right.
A lot of people don't always do it correctly. If you ran a rack at too low of a temp, or you put too many holes in it or too less of holes in it, you got to work with everything. And it's playing with stuff. To get that right mixture.
Yep. I mean, even with like my tubs, I've got a lot of my big girls right now. In I don't know what they are. They're tall, longer Sterilite tubs. So they have a little more headroom. But, my ones that are on the bottom of the shelf, they have X amount of holes. The ones that are at the top have less because it evaporates more, I've noticed, down there than it does up top. And as long as you know those things and you learn those things, I didn't know that at first. Obviously, it took me some time of when the one up top is, full of condensation and the one on the bottom is dry. I started figuring out what the difference was. And, that varies from room to room and season to season. And depending on where it's at in the room. So, I keep it 80 degrees in here all the time. And it's pretty easy to do here with the small heater in the winter and just basically blocking off the vent in the summertime. It'll stay that warm in here. And it took me a good 3 or 4 months to figure out how to control the humidity, but that's why I said with Reptichip it's going to be interesting because I was strictly aspen. Everything was on aspen shavings. All my colubrids are still on aspen because it holds the burrows really well, and they seem to like it. And they like to be a little drier anyway.
Definitely. It's all just it's playing around just to find that perfect. Like you said, I run the room at like 85, and to up the humidity, I put a bowl of water on top of my little radiator heater, and that helps here. Right now, I'm running a fan on myself because you start to sweat just sitting in here.
Yeah, it's warm in here.
But it's just play as you go. As long as you get the good start and go from there.
Yep. But it was 82 degrees here today, so
we hit
I don't think my heat.
I was shocked.
I don't think my heater probably didn't kick on today, but it's supposed to be in the 50s tomorrow. So
yeah. Pittsburgh, it could snow, it could rain. You never know.
Yeah.
So one of our followers, Chris Dodge, he had a question and he wanted to know everyone's opinion on this. I was waiting to you guys finish talking. But he said with the coronavirus going on, how do you guys think that's going to affect the reptile communities, like businesses and stuff? Do you think
I'm about to start breeding more rats because I think the snake sales are going to go down, but people still got to feed what they have.
Yeah. As far as
you breed your own food then?
I have a couple of colonies going that are just starting out. They're not here. They will be soon. but I buy from I work out a deal with another guy. I buy some from him at pretty low prices, but I'm starting to really see that he feeds his for free. He basically, because he sells to like 3 people, so he feeds his whole collection for free.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that's where it's going to be. I want to be able to make the money to put back into my stuff and grow, do a little better on some of my caging and buy a couple more racks. And I think that rats are going to be where it's at. Especially, I was thinking about that on the drive home today. I was listening to From the Ground Up, and they were talking. Somebody said the money's not in snakes, the money's in feeders, and it just made me think that right now snake sales might go down a little bit if the economy's struggling, but people are still going to have their animals. They still got to feed them.
Yeah. Big part of it is too. Also, is what I think we'll see is more people actually like coming. Like I had someone come pick up a snake today, and it's actually I like that better because then you sit and bullshit for a little longer.
Right.
You can show them some different stuff that you have that you're raising up and stuff that they normally wouldn't see at the show because I'm not going to take my whole collection to the show, but it gives them, an eye opener of what you have and what's coming up. And then, like I said, it just gives you more time to become more personable than just at a show. Oh, you bullshit for a second. Here's money. All right, have a good day. Compared to, like I said, them coming here and they're here for an hour and pulling out different snakes and like, oh, check this out. And it's a lot of fun. So I feel like the whole virus, it might actually end up bringing more people closer as far as coming. Because more people, people are reaching out to me all week, looking for stuff because now they can't go to a show and, look around and something. Now they want to, venture off and see what you have. So
yeah, it was a big deal when they canceled Tinley last weekend. That was most people were already there. That's what sucked about it, but
that cost their plane flights or hotel tickets. That's crazy.
Who was it?
I saw where several people set up in their hotel rooms though, and people were just going hotel room to hotel room like they were at a show.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I missed that part.
Yeah.
But like,
that's the way to do it. Yeah.
I guess Chris said Brian Barczyk shut down the Reptarium as this is going on.
Well, really? Yeah. He would I would assume he'd have to. It's not really like selling animal food or anything. It's a public place you're bringing people into.
He does do tours and stuff, and they're trying to limit that.
Because
they open just because people need to go get their dog food and stuff like it's a necessity as far as for most people.
Apparently, GameStop thinks they're a necessity. Y'all hear about that today?
No.
GameStop's apparently some employees sent out a memo that GameStop's corporate office sent out they gave it to their employees. So if the police try to come shut them down, to hand it to them, to call their corporate attorney so he can argue the fact that they're an essential business because people are bored when they're at home right now. So they should be allowed to stay open.
That's crazy. I wanted to play a video game. I could go and download it off the PlayStation right now.
Right. If we want to go play a video game, we'd just hop on Apex or something. We are like that shit's. I don't know what it is.
Exactly.
There are, I guess, some people that are serious about gaming, but I don't see that as a life.
No, they're just trying to protect their, trying to protect their profit. They're hanging on by a thread anyway. I'm sure. Yeah. They're like Blockbuster. I'm surprised they've lasted this long.
Yeah.
But
you ever see every so often.
Our governor today declared a state of emergency for the state last week, but today they officially said all restaurants in the state, are closed, no gatherings over 10 people. He made it official today for the whole state because you had a bunch of counties whose county judges in Texas, we have county judges. They're kind of like the mayor of the county. They're an elected position. Yeah. They're not actually a judge. They're just called a county judge. they you got a bunch of them who are saying we're not shutting down our counties. We're not going to do that. So the governor came in and said, "Well, yeah, you are."
Yeah, it's time
So
to do it.
yeah. So
we had some different places just staying open, because they're personally owned, and now they're going around, and if you're open, you get a fine. Because closed down. It's not.
Come on, man.
Stay open, shut down. Just go along with it. Everybody thinks it's some big conspiracy or whatever. And I'm like, I sat here today. I'm like, I almost don't want to look at Facebook anymore because I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what But the more and more you keep on looking at different stuff, you start to wonder what is true. And it's just it's a bunch of craziness. But they're all worried the military is coming in and this and that. And it's for backup as far as health, healthcare and all that stuff. And if there were riots, which we've seen in other countries and stuff, there's a reason for it. Don't go out and be dumbasses.
Right.
Just do it.
Yeah. Well, Conrad's been friends with me on Facebook for 6-8 months now.
Yeah.
He's figured out that I don't hesitate to share my opinion on things. So I've had some really good friends argue pretty vehemently with this about this. I made a post the other night about it's like there's two sides, just like everything else in our country right now. Everybody's got to be on one side or the other. And people are fighting, people are arguing with each other. I've had 2 or 3 people unfriend me this week that I've been real life friends with for years because I don't believe that this is a conspiracy to get the president out of office.
Yeah.
I mean, and now officially, I guess we're no longer friends. I'm like, geez, come on, grow up.
Yeah, like it's almost as bad as the election of 2016. I that's why I don't get political on Facebook anymore. I avoid it completely because I don't even get into politics in real life too much anymore. Like I don't vote because I'm sick of how much politics and dumb shit tears everyone apart. So
it's just it's taken over our life.
Yeah,
right.
It's taken over it's
there's people.
It's to the point where people don't associate with other people because they don't vote the same way as them.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all.
It's stupid.
I personally have friends and family members that are diehard Trump supporters. And then I have personal friends and family members that are diehard Hillary supporters. And and I'm talking their siblings, this is like my aunts and uncles and shit. And they're at each other's throats. And I'm like,
and what makes no sense is,
whoa.
I don't know any of these presidents personally. I don't know them. I don't know if they're good people, bad people. They just say what they want to. And, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass because you don't like something. I don't know him. Don't like him. I don't care.
Right.
I'm not going to be offended. I'm not, it's not going to ruin my day.
I'm a big white dude with a beard and a shaved head, and I drive a red truck. And I had a person come up to me and start cussing me out for, you must be a Trump supporter. And I'm like, what? I mean, I voted for him, but I drive a red truck. What's that have to do with it? I got a good deal on it. I didn't really want a red truck, but the price was right. What does that have to? I mean, this woman was cussing me up one side and down the other, and I'm like, you've literally not ever said one word in life to me, lady. You don't know who I am. And,
Josh told me, because he's got a shaved head. He's a bigger dude, tattoos and everything. He said he's been accused of being racist,
me too,
a Nazi. Where is all this coming from, man?
Yeah.
Why is everyone so full of hate? I just want to play with reptiles and
right.
Everyone always says don't judge a book by its cover, but nobody follows it. It's it's a whole different world.
One of my friends, he's actually on school board in my hometown, Santa Fe, Texas, where the school shooting was a couple years ago. That's my hometown. He's on the school board there. He's a very conservative guy, and he posted this big long rant a couple days ago about don't be a sheep, don't follow this, don't follow the news. So I go back on his page. For 2 days, he did nothing but share stories from Fox News, right-wing activists. I'm like, dude, you're doing the same thing. It's just that's just your echo chamber. That's just your echo chamber. You're doing the same thing. Shut up.
Because we watched the comedian the other day, and he was like, if you put what you know and what you think you know, and then you know wherever you actually look at it, and you go, how do you actually know this? Oh, well, someone told me. Yeah. Well, how do you know it? You know, where's that? It keeps on going down the line, and it just becomes
it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's when you think you know more about something than you actually do. And that's like my standard comment in most ball python groups. It's like, wow, this is a Dunning-Kruger comment, you know. And people never know what it is. They have to go Google it. But
I don't try to worry about nothing. I live in my own little world here. I go out on the porch, and you know, the old man drives down the street. I wave. You know, it's the same thing every day. But
I always say, I just want my gay neighbors to be able to protect their marijuana with guns.
There you go.
That's my political philosophy, you know. Whatever.
Yeah,
just do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah. Just freedom for everyone, you know.
Because like how we've said with the snakes, how they try to take it away from it. It's because it's not for them. They want to take it. And it's like, well, it's for us. You know, this is something we enjoyed. It's something we enjoyed, most of us, since we were kids. If you like something since a kid, you know, do you want me to come and take it from you? No, they wouldn't want that. They wouldn't like that. So it goes with everything. You know, just leave people be. You know, I don't care.
You know, I'll post a picture of my 9-year-old holding a snake, and I've had people say, if I saw that kid holding that snake, I would kill that snake. And I'm like, A, you wouldn't get anywhere near that snake.
Yeah.
And B, you know, you're just ignorant. That snake is safer than most dogs.
Yeah. I've been bitten by a pretty big dog before, and it did some damage.
Me too. Right on the inside of my thigh.
Yeah. It's people just don't think, and like I said, it's because it's something that wasn't for them, or they're not knowledgeable about it. It's a different world. So,
Speaking of that, I will tell you one thing that I have very little tolerance for is when someone asks me if they can boot my snake on the snoot. And I'm like, yes, I have one that you could do that with. Let me go get it real quick, because it'll probably cure them of ever trying that again. I don't know why that rubs me wrong, or when they spell it sneck, or it's like, come on, man. I know it's petty.
I almost have that saying. It's just weird. It's like you're trying to almost.
Girl,
I don't know. Yeah. What was that word?
Girlitize it. I don't know. I made up my own word there. It's almost like sissy. You know, it turned it into a sissified word.
It's like they're trying to soften the image of the snake.
Yeah. Which in some points, sure, if it works, it works. You know, we'll see. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like listening to a kindergartner talk, though. You know.
Yes. I watched a girl at a show walk up to a white-lip python and try and touch it on the nose, and it bit the shit out of her. And I just started laughing. And her boyfriend's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Dude, she was trying to touch a white-lip python on the nose. Like, it was going to just let her do it."
Yeah, I don't have that. I know mine would not have that at any point.
No.
He's kind of cool. He goes a little funky during breeding season, but no, there's no chance I could be like, oh, no, there's not.
Right.
Just ain't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to let you try that with a blacktail crebo, and let me see how that works when it puts its entire body weight into biting your finger off, you know? So, I think that's the other thing I like about the crebos is the way they eat, man. They just eat. They just throw their body at it and just eat it. You know, my big MBK, he doesn't bite his food to kill it. He sits in his tank and waits. He will only eat mice. He won't eat rats. He'll only eat big adult mice. He'll just sit in the corner and wait for it to walk under him, and then he'll just smush it to the bottom of his tank until it dies, and then he'll eat it. He never bites them and constricts them.
Like how you just even said it'll only take, you said mice. Whenever people, ask that they can't get their snake to eat, one, did you actually leave it alone for a week or so to settle in? And, that's the first question that should be asked. And then, even some snakes won't eat mice, or some snakes won't eat rats. You gotta play with everything. It's literally, it's like I said, a learning process all the way through.
My albino female will only eat white albino rats. White rats or red eyes. She won't. You put a black rat, gray rat, brown rat in there, and she's like, nope.
Two like that.
And apparently this big pewter will eat my foot if I let her, because she's like locked on it still.
I've even had to go, and whenever me and my brother, we go out and pick up feeders, I'll trade them. Give me all the white rats and you can take all the other ones, because he's like, oh, none of my snakes have a problem. I'm like, dude, I can put it in there 3 times. It'll bite it, it'll curl it, but it won't eat it. I said, I can put a white mouse in a white rat and it'll eat it. I don't know what it is, but if it works, it works.
Like, we actually tested it. Put a black one in there, she wouldn't touch it. Put kind of a fawn colored in there, she wouldn't touch it. Drop the white one on there, bam, got it, done. I'm like, well, that settles that.
It's definitely
I've actually heard that before with like ball pythons and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's just insane. Like,
it's definitely, like I said, it's you just gotta play with everything. Make sure as long as your temps are right, all that stuff, there's something else going on that your snake's not eating. And it like I said, maybe just what prey. I had a berm that wouldn't eat rats or mice; it would only eat chicks. Which is what you gotta deal with.
I actually got this pewter from JT that owns Reticulous, and she's different too, man. When he brought her out, he opened the bag and she came straight out of the bag, just straight up. She's about 2,000 grams, and she came straight out like, "Hey, what's up?" Not aggressive or anything or defensive, but right now she's periscoping like, "You gonna open this thing up? I'll come climb up in your lap if you let me." And but she's gonna shed. She's already gone through blue and she's come out of it, so she should be shedding maybe tonight, hopefully. So I don't want to mess with her, but yeah, she's very restless, moving around, and keeps keying on my foot through the tub. And she will only eat once a month. Really? You can feed her. She will not eat more than once a month. I don't care what size meal it is. She'll look at it. She'll track it. But when it gets to that 30, 31 days, you drop it in there, instantly she eats it. But she will not eat but once a month.
Yeah, I had a pied ball python. Moved it up to a 28 quart, wouldn't eat. Are you kidding me? Kept on messing with everything, and put it into a 15 quart, it ate. And that's just where it likes to be. I'm like, I've tried giving him a bigger space, tried to give him hides, and I'm like, as long as he's eating, I'm happy with that.
Right.
As long as your snake's eating, shitting, you're doing something right. But ball pythons, they like a small quarter. Some do. Some like to roam. It's just learn your snake. Everyone is individual.
Yeah, my big cinnamon female, she would hate being in a small rat tub. Even the C70 rack I have. I don't think she would even like that. She likes. In fact, she must be going to the shed because she has not come out since I've been in here. Hopefully that's what it is. Yeah. Because normally the minute I sit down, her head's poking out of her hide and she's like, "What's up?" And then she just cruises the whole time you're in here, just watching you. And then once you leave, she goes back in. She seems to want to be a little more social. She's not the greatest to handle because she moves around a lot and she's real head shy. So if you touch her head, she whips around. And but she's one of those. I've got other ones that I don't see for a week. If I don't check on them, I won't see that snake. Yeah. I'm sure you got something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, they're all different. It's just, so like I said, for someone, whenever you see people giving advice, it's like, that's not your snake. It's not the same as your snake. There could be something different. Give some advice on what helped you through it. If you had those issues, but if you don't have no advice for them, don't comment. Get off the post and shit.
Right. I love it when somebody says, I don't have any experience in that, but here's what I would do.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely haven't been in it long because most of us have seen a lot of different things that, hey, we've seen it happen.
Right.
This is how to go about it.
Shoot,
I
I
remember
think
15 years ago. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. It sounds like you were right on what I was about to talk about. So go for it.
I remember 15 years ago when we had them, it was completely different. There was reptile carpet that was and heat rocks and everything was in aquariums. And, back then it was mainly just normal ball pythons. And it has evolved so much. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that, but I completely just lost my train of thought.
No, I know exactly where you were going. In the last 15 years, it seems 20 years with reptiles, it's just like we went from only like the breeders having these nice rack and vivarium setups and everything, like boa master cages and stuff, and everyone else was keeping in, like you were saying, fish tanks or like display cases or whatever they could build, And yeah, basically, if someone had a reptile and told you that they had something cool, it was mainly a ball python,
Right.
That was like the number one snake I remember seeing. I mean, my brother's roommate had like Annies and Burms and stuff, but like I think ball pythons were the main thing, and even then they were expensive. Fast forward 15, 20 years, everyone's care and setup is now like 100 times different.
Yes. So, I think where we're going to be in another 10 years,
I don't know.
It could be completely different.
Yeah, we could progress a lot.
The best is how you were saying that reptile carpet. I had actually tried that in some of my bigger enclosures. I went and I bought a 10 foot by 8 foot piece or whatever, and cut out all my sections and all that stuff. I think we used it for a month, and I'm like, all right, it's all going in the garbage. I'm like, I can't do this. I was like, it looked cool at first, but keeping everything clean and that was such a pain in the ass. I'm like, I don't know how I did this when I was younger with the reptile carpet.
And you can never get the smell out of it.
No, that went out the door real quick. But yeah, it's changed a lot. And to know what they used to be kept like and to what they're offering now at pet stores and stuff, so there's so much more of a, how would you put it, so much more stuff for them nowadays. And it's definitely pretty cool. But whenever someone buys a $20 ball python for their kid, they're not going and looking at a $300 enclosure. This is something for their kid to to learn responsibility with, and they're going to go out and pick up a $20 tank or whatever, and it's just on how they do it is
right. So. And I love to get a kid like that into it because I'm hoping that in a couple of years, 3 or 4 or 5 years, he's the one with the big, naturalistic enclosures and awesome, that he really enjoys it, or he's got a great rack system set up. And, that's all you can hope is that, we get more. Like my 9-year-old, I'll tell you right now, he's going to do this for the rest of his life. As long as it's legal, this kid will always do it. He got bitten in the face right here on the eyebrow by about a 1,500 gram female, and it was a feed bite. She grabbed him and held on, and he freaked out a little bit when it happened, but he's still, if they get kind of whipping their head around, he gets a little timid still, but he took it like a champ. Probably took it better than I would have. Yeah. And but I think he loves his leopard geckos, and it's good to see him excited in it. Sometimes when it comes to doing the work part of it, like cleaning out tanks and stuff, I kind of have to get on his ass about it. But once he starts doing it, he realizes even that part's enjoyable. And then he does it and he's in a good mood, In fact, I need to tell him tonight's feeding. He needs to feed him tonight. He's in there playing, what what's the game all the kids play?
Fortnite.
Yeah. He's probably in there playing that right now. So
Yeah,
my father is pretty into that. And then as far as you were saying, helping cleaning, it's nice to have the kids. They can fit in a lot of places we can't.
Oh yeah.
I get he'll crawl into the enclosures and he's doing the inside of the glass, and he always expects money, but hey.
Mine hasn't figured that out. He hasn't figured out to ask that yet. So
yeah. He wanted $100 in enclosure, and I was like, "How about I'll give you $15 to do all of them?" It's like, "Oh yeah." He's 5, so he made $15 to do 8, 9 enclosures, and that was a whole lot. But $100 would have been better, but hey, it's cool.
Right.
For enclosure. Yeah. He was trying to make off rich there.
He's a lot of fun. And actually, it made me feel, he went and told my my girl that, she's like, you know what he said he was going to spend $15 on? Because my birthday's coming up in April. He said, I'm going to buy Dad another snake. I'm like, that's all. That made me feel real good that,
that's cool.
You don't got to do that, but that made me feel good.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's definitely in the kids as far as the snakes. They don't have that hate for them. They don't have that, they have no opinion on them except for they're an animal in their hands.
Right.
It's awesome to see how they react. Like my daughter's crazy about the snake.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
It's
like I said, a big part of it is it's all on how they're taught. We're not all these are. It's gonna hurt you. It's gonna people. I watch people freak out. Like my daughter's last birthday. I end up with all the kids and we're going to find snakes. That's what all the kids want to do. And from girls to boys, that's whatever they're around. Like that's what we're going to do.
Right.
People were pissed. They're like, oh, we came for. I'm like, yeah, but the kids were having fun. I said that's what it was about. Was the kids going out. I had some of the aunts and uncles that are against snakes, and I'm like, yeah, but your kids, they all seem to enjoy it. Your nieces and nephews, like, no one got hurt, no one's getting hurt. They all had a great time. That's something they'll always remember.
I have had someone to my face tell me that snakes represent the devil in the Bible, so you shouldn't keep them. I'm like,
yep, I've had that happen before. Too.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a sad world out there because, like, as much as my kids and like my daughter, like, she really enjoys the snakes. Even she's like 2.5, and so I posted a picture. I'm just out of shot, mind you, in this picture because I'm the one who's taking it and handling the snake. But there's a picture of her with my bigger retic, and that bigger retic's a fucking puppy dog. I call her a ball python because that's the way she acts half the time. And so I posted
I've seen that picture.
Yeah, and I got a lot of backlash for it from some people. So I just kind of stopped posting pictures of kids with the snakes and stuff. And if I take one, that's kind of just for me. And when they grow up, I'll probably give it to them. So.
Well, Daniel, the guy we're friends with, Daniel McCool.
Yes.
He's had that picture of his daughter, with that big albino retic of his with her head laying in her hand, and he got so much shit for that. Yeah. It was unreal, man. Yeah. People threatened to call CPS.
And anyone who knew Luna knew that she was a big sweetheart too. It was
But people let a kid sit next to a 150-pound dog. And it's like, that there's still the same chance between any of that. It's what could it be because it's a snake. I've had people where they had someone actually they were talking to me. They're like, oh, anytime I see a snake, I make sure I run it over with lawnmower. I'm like, you're an ass for that, but they like try to get under your skin, and I'm like, more or less, it was pissing them off that I was just kind of like, well, you're just dumb.
Right. It's like when someone hears you like reptiles or snakes.
Yeah.
And you're having like this decent conversation with them. They want to bring up like this topic of murdering snakes, and it's like, whoa, where the fuck this come from? I just told you I liked them. Like, why are we talking about murdering them?
I'm a big fan of cats, and I'm not like, oh, I hope they make it, General So's out of cats.
Yeah, right.
But I don't try to be an asshole. If you like cats, that's cool. That's your thing. It's not mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't go around saying that cats should be, all outdoor cats should be euthanized. I don't go around spreading my.
Yeah, I was
say it.
I have a
Not all outdoor
opinion
cats.
on that.
I don't believe.
Yeah.
I got into a big debate about this recently because Galveston Island has this catch, spay, neuter release program. Galveston also has a diverse songbird population that has been decimated by these cats. And I'm like, why are you spaying them and releasing them? Just euthanize them. Oh, dude, the freaking amount of backlash I got for saying that because my profile picture is a snake. People lost their minds on me, dude. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a fan of the cats. Outside, if you don't have it as a pet, keep it in your house. Cool.
Yeah, we have two.
If you live out on a farm, whatever, if you use it and it eats mice and all that,
Yeah,
whatever. But I live in Carnegie. I'm like in a little town area, and I got
Right,
8 new
strays
cats.
and ferals aren't cool.
yeah.
No, they shit and piss in my little flower area out there, and I'm like, walk out and you could smell. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that, and I know whose cats they are.
I don't
Crazy
even
cat
own
lady.
cats, and I got 3 in my barn for whatever reason. So
Yeah. We always had barn cats, growing up. We always had barn cats, but they do so much damage to the ecosystem. I think it's something like they estimate 2 billion songbirds a year killed by feral cats.
yeah,
That's crazy.
It's I don't believe in releasing someone's pet into the wild.
No.
That's what they're doing. If I let my retic out, I'm gonna catch shit for that. But someone's cat gets out and never comes back, they don't get nothing. It's just let it slide.
Which is part of why we have the feral hog problem that we have in the South.
Like if
those
you
things.
Keep it, if you can't keep it, find someone else that can keep it.
Right.
Don't let it go outside. That's not where it belongs.
Right. Which is, part of what they're facing in South Florida with the berms and the tegus and the rock pythons. And you say you could drive through the Everglades now and you don't see any mammals and hardly any birds anymore.
Yeah.
No, but where a lot of those snakes are getting euthanized. And like you proposed with the cats, why aren't we euthanizing all these cats? Like, right. I hate to sound like the asshole, but I 100% agree with you there. And it's just, I personally have grown up with cats as pets, but I can tell you not one of them was outdoors. I mean,
right. It's like in the hunting industry. You get all these people who are like, it's okay to hunt a deer, but don't kill a bear or a wolf because they're charismatic carnivores. Yeah. People look at the cat as all cats are pets. You know what? I've seen some feral cats. Go there and try and pet it. Let me know how that works out for you.
Right. There we go.
Go pick it up and let's talk about that after you're done. And I don't know. People, anthropomorphize the animals so much.
Yeah.
I think anthropomorphizing is a topic for a different day.
Yes. We can talk about that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we all just sighed at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, honestly, it's been a great time having you on, and lots of good conversation and shit. So we'll have to figure something else again and take off with the anthropomorph.
Yeah,
morphizing. Because
I love how we always shoot for an hour, and we're never on just for an hour.
No, I gotta cut the stream before we hit 3 though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I still gotta work in the morning. Hopefully, we have a company-wide meeting at 8:30 in the morning to talk about. It's going to be a State of the Union to talk about the new direction. So we'll see. I have a feeling they're going to cut us all back to 32 hours. I'm not hourly; I'm salary, so they would just adjust my salary. But I got a feeling that's what's coming in the morning.
Yikes! Wait,
But
no,
at least I still have a job.
See, to me, that's not right. They shouldn't. If they have to cut your hours, yet you're on salary, then they shouldn't be cutting your salary either. You know what I'm saying? Because salary is, you get paid salary. That's like a set income, no matter how much you work. You know.
What they'll do is you'll have the option of sign these papers that you're laid off, or sign these that your salary is now this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my salary up a little bit.
Yeah.
So. Everybody's got to kind of give and take. You know, it's everybody's got to work with it. And, you know, I even heard people getting pissed that they were talking about giving the $1,000 stimulus checks and stuff. And people are bitching about it. It's like they didn't have to do that. They don't have to do it.
Right.
I'll tell you what, if you want to bitch about it, bring me your check and I'll take it off your hands.
Yep.
You know?
It's crap. People just want to complain. You know,
yeah, dude, you can't make anyone happy, let alone everyone. So,
right. Right. I've given up on trying to make anybody happy most of the time. It seems like, except for my wife and my kids. You know.
Yeah. There's so many that they'll just get pissed at anything. It's pretty crazy out there. I'm even afraid to post a fishing picture of going fishing or something because someone out there, you harmed a fish.
I went to a local pet store to buy a couple of rats a couple months ago, and I went to Taco Bell down the road, and I had people follow me. They were from some animal rights group to try and talk me out of murdering these rats. I'm like, well, I'm not going to murder them. My snakes are.
Yeah.
So
that's what happened. It's definitely crazy. And I just don't know where to go. Because I don't remember being like that as a kid. But then again, with more social media, opened up for more people to start talking together and against it too, and it becomes one big thing. Like we were even talking people to have the time to go out and protest and all that. I got other things to do. I'd rather spend time with my family than stay with a bunch of random people screaming about nonsense. No matter what side it's on, it's just let's go home.
The latest episode of the Animals at Home podcast with Dylan Perron, however you say it, he had this very young, he can't be more than 16 or 17 years old, kid that's Canadian as well, who is 100% against live feeding. He is got this whole spiel about how he tried to look at it objectively, but it's very obvious that he didn't because he had pet rats before he ever had any reptiles.
Yeah.
And for reptiles, they're not even reptiles. He has a couple of tiger salamanders and some invertebrates.
Yeah.
And this kid went on for 2 hours talking about how terrible you are if you live feed. You're terrible you are if you do this and that. And I put a comment on Dylan's thing. I was like, look, man, I listen to it because I don't like to live in an echo chamber. Yeah. I like to hear what other people are saying. But let me tell you why I disagree with this kid. It's hard to listen to somebody when he calls you an idiot 3 or 4 times. Yeah. And he's literally 15 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thick-skinned. I don't care what this kid thinks about me. But every other word out of his mouth was about things that offended him. And then he goes on to talk about, he's a self-described internet troll. He likes to go on YouTube videos and comment about, that's animal cruelty that you're feeding live, which live feeding videos are a whole nother subject that,
we won't get into that.
Right. But so now Dylan has said he wants to have he wants to facilitate something where maybe that kid and a couple of people can talk about it live and keep it civil. And I'm like, me, dude.
It won't happen though.
Yeah. Say when, because I'll be part of that and I'll take the high road. Yeah. But I'm in.
Yeah. And I hate to see that two people can't just have a debate. Talk
right.
About, it always turns into name calling or it's
right. Yeah.
You even know what you're fighting for.
Me and Josh were talking about that. I'm like, man, maybe we should get on 2 viewers, 2 people with completely different views on something and have them debate. He's like, no, No, don't do that.
Have you seen the Jerry Springer show? I mean, that's what it's going to devolve into.
We even thought about getting more of like, a beginner breeder and someone that's been doing it for years, or a beginner keeper, and the ones that are against like Brian Barczyk and stuff like that. And it's like,
yeah,
and then bring out Brian.
That blows my mind too, dude.
I'm not always a fan of what Brian does, but the amount of knowledge he has is way more impressive.
That dude has brought more people into this reptile hobby than anybody alive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a shame whenever you got some, 16-year-old kid that has no respect, and these kids aren't being like. Whenever I was a kid, I was taught to, Mr. or Mrs. I haven't heard that in a long time. It's crazy the disrespect that gets away with now.
Yep.
So something's got to change, because these younger kids they're assholes.
We sound like a bunch of old men now.
Yeah. I'm only
Get off my
26,
yard.
Fuck. I got kids, and yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but we did leave capital punishment back when we were kids. So,
well,
I mean, I quite fondly remember like belts and paddles and
my mom had a paint
like
stick.
That. Yeah, like everything was a tool to spank you. Like everything, anything in their hand, they just beat you with. And
my grandmother would throw. My grandma was slow; she couldn't move fast, so she would throw whatever she had in her hand at you. You better hope it's not a fork or a knife, because she's gonna throw it. So yeah.
She'll feel bad about it later, but at the time you pissed her off. Don't do that again.
She passed away. She passed away when I was 32, and up to the day she died, I never cussed in front of her. And if I didn't say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, she wouldn't acknowledge that I spoke to her.
My grandma, whenever she yells at me, like, Joshua Samuel Aquina, I'm like, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
But it's, I don't know. Like I said, hopefully the kids just need to learn respect. We're not allowed beatings no more. At least give us the respect part.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a crazy world, it seems to. But at the same time, I feel like there's us out there. There's a lot of crazies, and then there's people who are like, yep, whatever.
I think the crazies just get more attention, so it feels like there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more silent majority, There's a lot more of us than there are of them. We just don't scream out, look at me, I'm normal. We don't do that. Like
they closed down a lot of the insane asylums, I feel, and this is what we ended up with.
On that note, but I guess we should probably cut it off there, because we're like getting way into like the next time we have you on.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah. Well, and actually, once we're done, message me your address, because I got some. We got some Reticulous stickers, and I was gonna send you a couple up.
Okay.
So.
I'll do it, man.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us, man. It was a fun time, and we'd love to have you on again. We'll get into the topics that take 2 hours of themselves next time.
we might have to put a warning on that episode and say, if you have soft feelings, you might not want to watch this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's the hard thing about streaming, because I'm not always as much as I want to put my opinion out there, I'm always a little bit more reserved about it. But I think you just spread it all out.
Yeah, I
just kind of start rambling off, and it is what it is.
Yeah, look, man. I'm gonna say what I think, but I'm gonna listen to what you have to say.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna hear it. I'm not just gonna listen to the words that are coming out of your mouth and dismiss them, because you form that opinion for a reason, and I want to know why. I haven't always felt about the way I feel about everything that I feel about.
Oh no. Right. I used to be one of them, like conspiracy nuts that used to think the government was always like out to get people.
Mm-hmm.
That was like when I was a teenager. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely everybody. They have the right to their opinion, and
that's right.
And I hate to see the people that try to shove their opinion down people's throats. It's like just leave it be, walk away.
No, there's my wife.
I was trying to duck in behind.
But yeah, like for tattoos.
How's it going?
No, she can't hear. Hold on.
Hey, how's it going?
Let me turn the volume up.
Nope. All right, there you go. How's it going?
Hey, how are y'all?
Pretty good.
I was trying to sneak in unnoticed.
There we go.
Happens.
Yeah, we were just about to cut it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely. Thanks for popping on, man. I'll shoot me your message. I'll get those sent out, and then we'll have to schedule something. We'll have you back on again for sure.
All right, man. Well, I enjoyed it, guys.
All right. Us too, man.
Have a good one and be safe.
All right. Thank you. You too.
All right. We'll see you later, man. All right. And Keith, you can probably. There's Keith. Wow. Just on time.
There's Keith.
All right. Go ahead. Say your ending words.
Okay. Stay tuned next week. Friday, I think we have Joe Hole coming on. It's going to be fun. We'll see you then. Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.